adults, we start to see the pains and the heartache of being in this dunya with all the hardship that comes towards us. Sometimes at one time or another. So if you think that you can get away from hardship in this dunya, you are quite wrong. Allah Azza wa Jalla had created man on earth and full of turmoil in which we are placed in. But don't look at this as some type of problem in which we go through. Don't look at it and say, why me? Why must I go through hardship? Why? Because all actuality, all of us go through this. And going through this is just a learning experience for man to make him or her stronger. We should understand that out of hardship becomes ease. Right? When there's hardship, there's ease. Again, when there's hardship, there's ease. Our problem is we think it's ease and then hardship. No, it's first hardship and then ease. And out of that ease is the reward in which we wait for after the hardship. Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali alayhi salam, he says that hardships, they are the key to the reward. Subhanallah. The key to the reward. You say, wait a minute. How is it a reward when there's hardship? We're going to look at our day and time, because we shouldn't look at maybe the past. Let's look at our day and time. We see that many times they have a plague. Like, we remember they had that Ebola plague, right? Now, before they had this plague, they didn't have no medicine. So once this plague came about, they had to go out and make medicine for this. So even though this hardship came about, there was some good that came out of it. That means there's a medicine for people who one day will get it in the future. They could actually save their lives. So out of hardship, there is ease. SubhanAllah. There's a reward in this. There's a reward. But what happened when we go through these things, we ask Allah, why should I go through this? Maybe it should go towards someone else. I should be exempt from going through this heartache and pain. I should be exempt from going through this difficulties. You know, it's interesting that one time, one of the companions of Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, he came and he complained to the Imam about his hardship. He said that he's constantly having illnesses and pains and going through difficulties, extreme difficulties. The Imam said to him, he said, if a believer knew what type of benefit it is to go through hardship, he will rather someone cut his body with scissors into pieces for the rest of his life. Imagine scissors. We know what scissors are, right? Imagine getting your body cut into pieces with scissors for the rest of your life. If we knew the rewards, we would want to go through even more hardship. We want Allah Azza wa Jalla to make things even more difficult for us. We would not want things to be easy at all, because we know that at the end there is a big reward. SubhanAllah, but do we think this way? First thing when something happens, you go like this. Why? Why? No, I cannot take this. You know, Allah Azza wa Jalla does not give us anything that we cannot bear. All actuality, Allah Azza wa Jalla give us lesser than what we could bear. Because all actuality, we can actually bear more than what He give us. It reminded me of a story one time. They said it was this man, and he wanted to build a skyscraper, a big tall building in one of these cities. And they said as he was building this skyscraper, he ran out of money. It happens. Sometimes, you run out of money. People won't invest in your project anymore. So the first thing he thought about is that, I ran out of money. I'm just going to take my life. He couldn't take, that he lost things. You lose things. You go through these type of things. So he said, the building in which I build, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump off the building. But to make sure that I die, I'm going to take poison. He said, I'm going to make sure that if I live, I'm going to die from the poison. So he had this all thought through, But Allah is the best of planners. They said that as he jumped off the roof, he hit a flagpole, spit out the poison, and lived. You see this? He went through all of this for what? Not realizing that because he lost everything, it does not mean life has ended. Life has not ended because you lost or went to some type of hardship. We should know that as believers, we're definitely going to go through hardship. Allah tells us in Quran, He said that, do man think he'll be left alone or saying he believed? We tested those before you to see who is false or who is real or from the false. Who is real or false. What this saying to us? That man is going to be tested. He or she is going to go through difficulties. But like all rainy days, eventually it's going to stop raining. And once it stops raining, what happened? The sun come up and it dries out the moisture. And that's life. Life is this way. It does not end. It does not go on forever and ever. Just for a short time. But this little bit of time in which we said that we go through, we think it's forever. And like I said previously, we don't go through the hardest of pain. We have to look at who goes through the hardest of pain. For instance, the prophets of Allah. They go through the most pain and hardship, so much more than that of us. Let's look at an example of our own beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imagine, as a young age, you lose your father. You lose your mother. You lose your grandfather. Then you lose your wife. Then you lose your uncle. Then you are, had to leave your country. Some of these people saying, hey, it sound like my life, right? Some people say it sound like my life. But right now, we're not thinking about you. But if you think about it, let's think about the prophet. But now, even if you had these same situations, you are still sitting here alive. Imagine everybody also turning on you at the same time. But yet, you're trying to give a message to the people, and the people are rejecting you as you're giving a message. People are plotting to kill you while you're giving a message. If that's not difficult, what is? But the Prophet of Allah, he still proceeded on with his task. He took on these difficulties, and what he did, he wore it and moved forward. He did not think that it was over. He did not allow people to stop him to do his task. No. He kept on moving forward. This is how we're supposed to do. This is what we're supposed to do. or the heartache in which Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam went through about his son, Yusuf. So much so that he cried until he became blind. Imagine that type of heartache. Just imagine now if you're a father or your father loses his son or his daughter, what type of weeping in which he go through. What type of heartache in which he go through. Then you can really understand what Prophet Yaqub went through with Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. To cry until you go blind. But he endured. He endured. Allah Jalla give us these examples, not just to tell us, but to show us that heartache goes to people who are close to him as well. Pain goes to people that's close to him as well. That the closer you get to Allah Jalla, the more hardship in which you will get. It is to the point that some of the companions of Rasulullah, they used to be upset and think that they have done something wrong when they didn't go through hardship. Imagine that. He's like, oh, this has been an easy day. I didn't go through no hardship. This is easy. SubhanAllah. We'll be just like this man. And one time, they said that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi salam had went to his house. He went to his house to eat. So when he went to this man's house, he saw something that was very, very, very odd. So it was a chicken on a ledge, like a wall, a wall, ledge. And he saw the chicken or the animal lay an egg. Now, mind you, it was on top of a wall. Maybe the wall was 3 feet, maybe it was 2 feet. But normal wall is maybe 3 feet or better. Possibility, right? This is normally what a wall might be. So just imagine this wall might have been 3 feet or better. Now just picture in your mind, that this chicken lays an egg. It falls off the wall. But wait a minute. It fell upon a nail. Now the first thing you said, this egg is a goner without the nail, right? Of course. When it fell upon the nail, it just rolled over and did not break. The Rasulullah, he was amazed. He was like, he never seen anything like this. He had a look on his face. So the guy that invited him over to eat, he asked him, why did he have this type of look on his face? And the Rasulullah told him what happened. The first thing this guy said in the hadith, the right, he was like, Wallahi. This is what he said, by Allah, I don't take no losses. Rasulullah thought something was wrong with this guy. Something is wrong. You don't take no losses. You don't lose anything. You don't go through no heartache or pain. It was so much so that the Rasulullah got up, didn't even eat, and left his house. I'm staying away from this guy. Of course, we might have stayed and ate and then left. You say, oh, well, you have some lamb? SubhanAllah, let's eat. This is what we would have done. But he got up and left. This shows us that you have to go through something, and that it is not normal if you do not go through something. It is not normal if everything is just easy and there's no hardship. Say, oh, it was just smooth sailing. SubhanAllah. You should think if things don't go wrong, then something ain't right. As you think that, people be like, oh, no, Shaykh, you crazy on this one. No, we want things to be easy. Woo, forget that. We have to go through Allah. He tells us that. He's going to take things like land and wealth and family members and all types of stuff from us. We're going to lose. This dunya is not meant for us to hold on to these things. If that was the case, then we would be in this dunya forever. Right? This dunya is made for us to send our luggage ahead of us. He said, send our luggage ahead of us. Yeah, our luggage here. We are like travelers here. Right? And there's places like a big Walmart. And we go in there. We have our list, which is our deeds. We accumulate all the stuff in which we need to go on this journey. And then when we get our deeds, we send them ahead of us. And then when we get to that place, there are big mansions and streams or whatever it may be waiting for us. So we are sending things ahead. This is how we should think, right? But this is how we really think. Oh boy, I'm buying that brand new electric Porsche, right? Home with that big house by the beach. Yes, the biggest one, not the medium big one, but the biggest one. And I want to be very comfortable. I don't want no problems, no difficulties. I want it this way. Right? That's how we think. Right? Excuse me. We have to think that if everything always going right, something must be wrong, and that Allah Jalla is not going to give us something. That maybe He's going to give us everything here, and we are not going to get something in the hereafter. See, the things that mean the most are going to be in the hereafter for us, waiting for us. You know, it's a good story. And, thank you. Please, salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala. Alhamdulillah, about me. We should think like this. There's one time there was a scholar, and he used to go and visit this lady in Bahrain. So when he go to her house, he knock on her door. She have a servant open the door. Everybody inside the house is wonderful, smiling, happy, a lot of things going on. But then when he see the lady, she's always sad, like miserable. And the first thing that will go to our mind is the same thing will go through the scholar mind. Like, wow, you have everything. Why are you feeling miserable? So it said that the scholar, he left for some time, and then he came back and went to visit the same lady. So as he knocked on the door, he noticed there was no one that answered the door. Because normally before, when he knocked on the door, she had a servant. He opened the door. Please, welcome. Come on in. But this time she came to the door. And for some reason now, he noticed that she was extremely happy. She was extremely happy this time. Now remember, last time he seen her, she was sad. Everybody was in the house happy, but yet she was sad. So he said, I noticed that before, when you had everything going on in the house seemed much livelier, that you seem extremely sad. But today I come here, you have no servants, nothing is going on. You seem extremely happy. What changed? Which, we would actually want to know what's changed. She said, I lost all my sons. Every time I would send something by ship, the ship sank. But she was like, Alhamdulillah, I thought that Allah have gave me everything in this world and did not leave anything for the hereafter. She said, when all of this happened, I realized I have something for me in the hereafter. SubhanAllah. See how she's thinking. She felt that Allah was giving everything in this world, and she would not have anything in the hereafter. Because she realized that this world stuff is what? Short term. Hereafter, forever. This is so true that when we look at the hadith from Imam Bakr alayhi salam, where he said that when a believer goes through some hardship and he called out to Allah, Allah says that, yes, I hear you, but if you knew better, you will hold off till later to get this ease from off of you, basically. You will hold off. You will want to keep on going through these difficulties. You will want to. This is a part of our life. These heartaches, these pains. There's no way of getting around this. But look, like I said previously, life is not over when you go through this. This makes you stronger. It gives you a life lesson. Just think about all the things in which we went through in our life that was difficult, and how did we come out? We came out stronger human beings, better Muslims, so much so we became better believers, subhanAllah. Right? gave us strength. Did not make us weak. No. Made us better people. That's what this does for us. It makes us better. But at the same time, when this going on, we should thank Allah wa Jalla. Right? We shouldn't say, why, oh Allah, why you put me through this type of pain and heartache? I cannot take it. This is too much. But that's what we really say, right? Oh, this is so difficult for me. This is hard. I can't take it. The thing is that when you go through heartache and pain, you should think about others who go through this heartache and go through hardship, because you're not going through it alone. You think that you're the only one going through this, but everyone goes through hardship. When you think that everything is going to go through what happened, monkey rich, right? He's like, oh man, what happened? But what you do, you regroup and move on forward. And you continue on your task, on this journey in this dunya. This is what we do. This is how we live. You know, when we look at also going through hardship, a lot of times we think that because we go through this hardship, it might have been something in which we've done. Sometimes, yes, we have two types of ways of getting this hardship. One is the natural hardship in which come to us. But then sometimes we have hardship in which we create with our own hands. Difficulties in which we create with our own hands. Things in which we have done that gave us problems. This happens to us 99.9% of the time, right? That we have done something with these hands that caused difficulties for ourselves. Our hands. This is what happens to us. But what about this one? A lot of times when people go through hardship, the people around them start saying that maybe this person is not favored by Allah. They have done something in which have brought upon this wrath upon them. This is what they think. We see an example of this is when we see Prophet Ayub alayhi salam, right? Prophet Ayub, he lost his children. He became ill, right? Very sick. And the first thing the people thought that, oh, how can he, someone that's favored by Allah, go through this type of hardship? He must have done some type of sin. He had to do something. This is what they think. This is what the people think. He had to do something for Allah to turn his back on him. But, in actuality, no, he didn't do anything. But when he was going through this hardship, he did not turn away from Allah. What it did, it brought him more towards Allah. This is what they're supposed to do. That means when you go through this hardship, the first, the last, and the middle thing, what you should do is hit that musalla and thank Allah and make dua. Pray to Allah. Ask Allah to give you strength to be able to handle much more hardship. Right? Like, oh no, Allah, ease this pain. I don't want this pain. Aspirins cannot help this pain. Oh Allah, take it off of me. Give it to somebody else. This is what we say. Give it to somebody. I don't want it. That guy that was sitting next to me in the Majlis, give it to him. I don't want it. He looked like he could handle it more than me. Right? This is what happens. We cannot think this way. And we see that sometimes this hardship that we have lasts for a small amount of time. They said that with Prophet Ayub alayhi salam, they said that this hardship lasted for what? 7 years, 7 months, 7 days, 7 hours, 7 minutes. It was crazy. And he endured. They even said that how his wife was reacting. He asked her how much good we had before this. We had many years of good, but the hardship in which we're going through is just small. We never look at that. We could be rich millionaires for 105 years and be broke, poor, living on the street for 2 years. Those 2 years are the worst years we may have in our life. Wait a minute, you just, a millionaire for 105 years. How can you say these 2 years are the worst? But this is how we see things. Maybe maybe we are seeing things the wrong way. Maybe we're not taking heed to what Allah's Jalla is telling us. Maybe we're not paying attention to this. Most likely we're not paying attention to this. Most likely we're not listening to what Allah is telling us. When we read the Quran and He tells us that He's going to, test us and He's going to test us with certain things, maybe we flip that page and go to the next verse. Say, that verse, it don't pertain to me. Next verse. It pertains to someone else. I'm not going to go through that. That's what happens, right? Most likely that's what we do. It don't pertain to us. It pertains to us. All of us. And the closer to Allah that we get, the harder the task will be placed upon us. This is what happens. But we'll be able to endure because we became stronger believers. Our skin had became tough, as they said, right? This is what happens. We could do it. When we look at a person that actually was far greater than us and far tougher than us and was able to go through hardship and still thank Allah was Benin. We never think about her, right? How tough she was. They say they have a story. They said one time, Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam, he had Feather Abbas on his lap. And they said that the Imam rolled up the sleeves of Abbas. And then all of a sudden he started to cry profusely, the way it's said in the story. He just started to cry once he rolled up his arms. So al-Banin, she said, what's wrong? They said that the Imam said to her in a soft but gentle voice, he said, I see in this vision what will happen. So she said, what will happen? He said to her that his arms from the forearm would be cut. She said, why will it be cut on both arms? She said that his arms would be cut because he will be trying to fight for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And it said that when she heard this, her and the women that was with her started to cry profusely. And then all of a sudden she realized she just started thanking Allah. Even though she knows that this hardship is going to come and that she's going to lose her beloved son, she realized that she thanked Allah is much better than anything. And for her to be able to endure this. But as time went on and her children, all four of her sons, went on to fight with Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and they all lost their life on the battlefields of Karbala, they said that she found out that she lost her sons and that she did not even worry about anything. She didn't even care. She acted like it didn't even matter. But the first thing when she asked about how was Imam Hussein alayhi salam, this was what she was worrying more about, because when they left, she told them that she could not bear the fact if they came back alive and the Imam was what? No longer with us. So that they must have take or lose their life to make sure that they safeguard the Imam. Once after she heard what happened to Imam Hussein and that she lost her sons, she did with anybody that understand that hardship and pain. She glorified Allah. SubhanAllah. Now just imagine us in this type or in her shoes, and we hear that 4 of our sons had just got martyred, and we worry more about our Imam than anything. The strength in which al-Banin had was far greater than any average person. Because we ourselves will have broke down and cried and start yelling and falling down to the ground. And we will start saying to ourselves, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And we will start to reenact the walking back and forth like how Imam Hussein had did. But Al-Baneen, she was strong. Because she realized what Allah says in the Quran, فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر وآخر دعوانا والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة على محمد وآله الطاهرين.